The beta branch version 1.1 just went live for Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord on Saturday. So I spent the whole day pretty much going through version 1.1 and kind of taking a look at how it changed the game in a pretty drastic way. So I'm going to quickly go through how this affects a current save and how this affects a new save for you. Before we jump in, one thing I do want to look at real fast are some new options that they added. For one, there has been a VRAM and RAM overhaul to the game, fixing a lot of memory leaks. So if you had a lot of performance issues, this is now going to be fixed. You can find a link to the patch notes in the description below. Go ahead and pour through those real quick. A lot of the big changes kind of focus on stability, optimization, making sure that the game is running a lot better. Also, it fixed a number of quests that were being barred from the main storyline, namely the conspiracy, as well as a number of overhauls to the character creation process, the skill system, and your companions. So we'll take a look at those in just a little bit. But we get two new options here: display calibration, and the other one here is configure exposure. Now, these are actually pretty significant. You'll notice the game's going to be a lot darker until you really kind of find your happy medium here, and I'm still kind of tweaking with this a little bit. Like I honestly I feel like it's just too dark when I play. But we're going to jump into a current save game, but I wanted to talk about those real quick. They've also changed a number of things here, a number of things that are now in here that weren't before, that were in other menus, just to kind of make things a little bit easier. Your sound channels should no longer lag your game. They said the sound channels is going to be dependent upon your CPU, but there's a number of other big changes that I want you guys to read through in the patch notes that might be particular to you as it pertains to performance. For me, the game has been running pretty great. I haven't touched anything, and I'm still getting 60 frames a second. I think actually, I'm sorry, I turned off film grain and motion blur because those were kind of hurting my frames just a little bit. Because you'll notice that the game is going to look way prettier too. The game looks just super sharp. So we're going to jump into a current save real quick, because that's going to affect all of you guys right now today. Then we're going to jump into a new save, a brand new campaign, to show you what's changed with the skill system. All right, here we are in a current save. Now, I'm not going to move the character because that's going to take into effect almost all the changes immediately. So let's go over to our character real quick. So take a look. Things look normal. I mean, already you can see my character looking pretty snazzy over there. This is from my stream playthrough where I'm kind of role-playing as a White Scar character. But before you do anything in your game, take a look at this. They've reduced the amount of experience needed for specific skills. So you're going to fly through a ton of skill bonuses. You're probably going to get 82 skill in the first second of moving your character in riding alone. So take a look at this. 24,000 out of 1,100. So I'm going to get some levels here. This is probably going to jump up to around 70. Riding, 81,000 out of 2,000. So you're going to get a massive amount of levels, because the game, I mean, you think about it, this one over here is 275. That's the skill cap. So the game right now is kind of a little diluted if you're playing it, right? You're like, oh man, it takes a long time to grind these levels. And I thought that was the norm from just my experience from Warband. It is not. You can also look up here. We're going to get a ton of actual character levels outside of skill levels. So as you touch on each one of these skills that has the negatives they'll shore up quickly. But each one of these that is overloaded in points will immediately jump to where it's supposed to be as soon as you get its first little bit of skill. So if I were to go do a polearm, I'm going to get a level in polearm. If I go touch anything with a sword, I'm going to get a ton of levels. Same thing with charm here, medicine, or steward, all this action. So I thought it was a bug. It is not a bug. It is working as intended if you were watching my stream yesterday. Now, this also extends to your companions, and companions have had a massive overhaul too. All companions and also your characters have had these experience requirements reduced, and they've also had skills that they're not proficient in removed. So right now, your current companions are way stronger than what it would be if you made a brand new game. Like, let me find, I think the surgeon. The surgeon's a good example. This guy's only got 80 medicine, but he's got all these other skills and perks. If I were to make a brand new game, which we'll take a look at, trust me, these skills and perks are not there. They're just not there. Like, for instance, I usually only have one movement skill, riding or athletics, very rarely both. So If they specialize in engineering, they're going to have way more engineering because they're not going to have 80 throwing, 80 crossbow, 120 polearm, 120 sword, two-handed. A lot more will be kind of focused in what they focus in. So again, you can see this guy's got 459,000 experience in two-handed. Going to be the same thing for all these. So all your current save, it's not that it's broken. It's that it's at a weird point right now. And this might get patched throughout the week, so do take some of this with a grain of salt, guys. I just wanted to kind of illustrate what's been changed or what's been kind of modified with the skills and level system. So if I were to watch what happens when I take a step. There it goes. So my Frostbeard guy just got 38 skill points in scouting because he's my scout. Gonna keep moving. Okay. Well, everyone got points in riding because we're all riding. Some people got points in athletics because they're on foot. So 28 or 23, 48, 34, my main character. So you're just going to see tons of, I just went up to 101 skill and now 1400 out of 3,500. So things kind of come back in line. Perks seem to, for the most part, be working now. Don't quote me on that. I haven't tested every single one of them, but you're going to find yourself with a massive amount of skill ups, a ton of focus points, and a lot of attributes to be spending as this patch is live. I would honestly recommend, though, that everyone kind of start a new save. I think it's going to be the most beneficial for you, and you probably did some things wrong or something like that you want to fix in a new save anyway. Like, I think re-rolling characters is a huge portion of playing Bannerlord, so I don't think it's a bad thing. Unfortunately, there's not an arena a tournament going on right now, but they fixed tournaments in a certain kind of way. You still do get experience in your tournaments, great and cool, but now your betting is exponentially less depending on which portion, your odds, I guess you could say. So the beginning portion, when you have less odds to win, I guess, is you can bet more. And the very last portion, the final stage, the fourth stage, you can bet less. So you actually can make around 1,000 to 1,500 just from betting, and you cannot. The patch a little bit ago said, "Oh, we're going to limit 200 to 2,000 as the reward." It's not like that anymore. You can get like pretty beastly items yet again. But one thing I do want to talk about, which is pretty significant here, is the price of all of your ore. They gimped this significantly. This has been nerfed. So this will say 55 in Makeb, but that's still not significant enough to smelt down every single item you get. So smelting, that might get kind of brought back up, but as of the beta patch right now, remember guys, this is a beta, so things are bound to change, get different, get better, so on and so forth. But as of right now, that is not the case. Smelting is no longer a big moneymaker, although trading is, and trading is a little bit more transparent, I'd say. So I think trading is a little bit stronger. If you hover over horses, you can now tell if they are you can tell if they're a pack animal or if they're a speed related horse. So if you take a look at the Sumpter horse, below the picture you see those three icons. The one in the middle is the new one, that little sack plus, that's inventory capacity increase. I can see here, okay, spare mounts, pack animals, that's what's giving my bonuses to my inventory. But if I click on a sturgeon trotter, I see a little plus to the horse icon, because then if I look down here, I see that I'm getting a bonus from footmen on horses and cavalry. So this is where you can now get a nice transparency on what horses do what. Do they add to my inventory capacity by 100 every time, or 1,000? What is it? Let me see. 100. Or is it just going to be adding to my speed? That is a really nice benefit. All of the ranged items have gotten kind of calibrated better here. Sure, this thing's 10k, but it's a tier 6. This simple bow is back down to 3k, not the 10k it was before. Crossbows, there's not one here, but you can take a look. This is a tier 6 crossbow and it's 10k. Normal crossbows are now like 400, so those are kind of calibrated back. Melee weapons are kind of brought back in line as far as their prices are. Armor is still pretty expensive on the top tier. It has like a pretty crazy curve where tier 3 and 4 are pretty manageable, then 5 and 6 just get up there in price. So that's a tier 4 cape for 11,000. I'm not buying a 12,000 cape unless I'm going to like the hottest bar in the land, you know, like what the hell. So they have calibrated the economy a lot better, I will say. A big thing too are your units, and this is going to be retroactive. So all of your units now have less experience required to level up, so they'll level up way faster. Now they did reduce the amount of experience generated from auto-resolve or send troops, but that was mainly for the AI who was just getting fat leveled armies, and less so for us. So that, I don't think that's going to be as huge, because we're also getting less experience required to level up our individual troops as it is. And you can see the other change to the troops is that they're all beefy. They all went through just like many cycles of steroids and eating 5,000 plus calories a day. Some not so much. Others just really are pushing the limit of their armor. Like, let me see here. It's like some are just like, oh, like you can tell like, oh, they didn't touch I think like the cog gun guard, or these guys are pretty big. These guys are still pretty big. There were some I was like, oh, they didn't really touch these dudes, but other ones I'm just like, whoa, made some real linebackers, huh? Like these guys aren't that much bigger, but then when you just like you look at anything in here, it's just massive. The legionaries no longer have this armor. They pretty much had this armor and a change in weapons. Now they have a full set of like heavier scale Lemlar armor, so it's kind of awesome there. But that is just a little bit of the highlights of what has changed with this patch as it comes to your current save. And again, if I go to do, let's just say, what was something here? We'll go talk to this person. We'll do the one dinar trade. All of your skills in general are going to be leveling up a lot faster. It's something that is going to help you out a ton, because you're not going to see 10 skill points, because I had a bunch of banked experience for charm. So all of your skills, as you use them, are going to give a massive amount of experience here. Don't think something's broken. It's just the game coming back in line. But unfortunately, the way that your what are these called? Companions are, if I take a look at this guy, look at all these skills that he's got. When we jump onto the new save, it's not going to be this way, unfortunately. So we won't have these companions that are all like can be used across a bunch of different things. There might be some where you just kind of keep them very backline oriented. So we'll see how that kind of pans out, and if that gets changed or patched throughout the beta branch's lifeline. Remember, this is the beta branch, which is different from their main branch. We will be getting patches outside of this, I would imagine, until this one goes fully live. I'm not sure when it goes live. I think it's going to be a full week until it does. Again, please don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% certain. The patch notes do illustrate how their beta branch is going to work. So now that we've kind of talked about a number of things as it pertains to your character, your party, your companions, experience, the new inventory little changes here and there. I can't wait till they add like a sort party button. Let's just look at what it looks like in a brand new save. That'll be like real quick, like 45-second to like 2-minute video portion of the video, and we'll just kind of look at that before we close everything out. So let's jump on over to a brand new start. So here we are with a brand new character. And I just clicked randomly on things to get us to this point. No rhyme or reason. Now, in the past, everything that did not have a focus point in it started with 5 skill. Everything that did started with 10 skill in addition to that 5. So in theory, we would, if this was the previous system, we would have 25 one-handed and 5 bow. So we'll go ahead and, oh, they also changed the combat AI difficulty is now normal, veteran, or challenging, not realistic on the same skill as everything else. So we'll just press these buttons, doesn't matter. Just jumping into the game anyway real quick. Also, load times are a lot faster. You'll notice that when you jump in. My brother looks completely haggard right now, so we're going to skip that guy. And we will take a look at this. So we'll leave there, press there, ASD, there it is, boom, bam, bing. So take a look at the character now. So things are a little bit more in line, 0 on everything else. It doesn't mean that it's hard to gain there, but now that the game is this way, here is what I would recommend if you were going to start a new character. Invest your focus points not in the things that you're going to focus on combat-wise first. So let's just say I'm going to be a riding one-handed knight, right? This is Valandian. I want to be the dude with a polearm, one-handed and riding. Don't really invest still. I would say get 2 focus points in each one of these, maybe 3 in riding. Then stop. Put them into stuff like athletics, things like steward, because it's going to give you a lot of fast levels by jumping these things up, which are going to start increasing more passively. The gain on those is going to be way faster since the experience is so minimal per level now. So I would say, okay, well, you know what? I'm only really going to be using athletics when I'm going to be doing sieges or if I'm doing a tournament. So let's just pop a focus point into that now, because this way you won't get so high in your level from these things and just be behind the curve in your harder or slower learning or raising skills like athletics or steward or tactics or charm, the things that you're not focusing as much on but are still a part of your character. So if you're making a new character, that's my biggest recommendation to you. And then the other little thing here is take a look at your heroes, your wanderers. Let's just go to, I think the other guy we looked at was the Lucky. See, the Lucky is different. He no longer has riding skill and athletic skill, he just has athletics. He has polearm and one-handed and two-handed and a tactic, which is actually quite nice. But if I take a look at just say, oh man, where is a specific character like a scholar? A scholar. See, he's a little more bare bones now. He does have throwing, which is cool, but he's got one-handed, athletics, no riding at all, and massive amount of medicine now. So the scholar, that I was going to do my video on the best companions, but it's all changed. All of it has changed. So I have to take a look at what this really means for each one of these individual skills and what their respective suffixes, because it is now changed. So hopefully this gives you a really good idea of what is new with the 1.1 beta patch. I strongly recommend it, actually. I think it's a lot of fun. The game looks completely and utterly different. It looks like beautiful when you're actually on the combat map. So if you can and you're ready for something that's a little bit different, I strongly encourage it. It doesn't break your saves, but I would recommend that if you want to do this, back up. See, this is the combat map. Back up your saves, go to My Documents, go to Mountain Blade 2, and just copy that folder and make it somewhere else. That way, if you want to roll back, you won't have to worry about anything. In order to access the beta, you have to go to your library, right-click Properties on Mountain Blade 2, then go to the beta tab, and then opt into beta 1.10 at the bottom. But I hope this video gave you some light on what's new with 1.1, and as we get more coverage on how the beta branch progresses, I will continue to do these videos for you guys, or maybe even like a summary every week of what's new with the game. But thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one, and take care.